Details of these and more after this break. I am Omoye Ogbeide. Three illegal migrants of different nationalities, including 3 Tunisians, were rescued on Monday off the southern coast of Sfax by a unit of the Tunisian Navy as they were attempting to illegally get to the coast in Europe. A statement issued by the country's Ministry of Defense said they were on board a Fortune boat that landed at about 42 kilometers northeast of the port due to bad weather conditions. Among those rescued are 37 women and 4 children who said they sailed from the coast of El Amra, a locality in the region, intending to get to the Italian coastline. They were taken to the fishing ports where they were handed over to units of the National Guard of the region. And in a move aimed at curbing corruption, Guinea's re-elected President Alpha Condé has said that all ministries in his new cabinet will have to declare their assets and those of their relatives. He added that any company whose close ties to them will be barred from bidding for government contracts. Condé, 82, was speaking at a ceremony in the capital, Conakry, where he was sworn in for a controversial third term following an election which was marred by violence and opposition allegations of fraud. His inauguration was attended by 11 African leaders. Condé said a constitutional referendum in March allowed him to run again despite a 2-term limit for presidents. Amnesty International says since October's vote, Guinea's security forces have killed at least a dozen people and arrested hundreds of opposition strongholds. Amnesty described President Condé's swearing in as a culmination of a process involving serious and widespread human rights violations carried out with complete impunity. And the President of the European Commission has said a narrow path has opened up for the UK-EU to strike a post-Brexit trade deal. Ursula von der Leyen said the next few days are going to be decisive, with negotiations and negotiators working day and night to reach an agreement. She said negotiations over how a deal would be enforced are largely being resolved. She added, talks over fishing rights are still very difficult. Officials from both sides are continuing talks in Brussels as they race to strike a deal before the UK stops following EU trading rules on 31st of December. Updating the European Parliament and an EU leaders summit last week, von der Leyen said one cannot tell whether there will be a deal or not. On Tuesday, Prime Minister Boris Johnson told his cabinet the UK still wanted a deal but would not agree to one at any cost. And Germany has entered a hard lockdown, closing schools and non-essential businesses in an attempt to stop a sharp rise in COVID-19 infections. The measures will be in place until 10th January. Christmas will see a slight easing, with one household allowed to host up to 4 close family members. The country reported another 952 deaths and 27,728 cases on Wednesday. Other European countries have tightened restrictions ahead of Christmas, with France introducing a 9-time curfew. Under Germany's new measures, only essential businesses such as supermarkets and banks will be allowed to remain open. Restaurants, bars, and leisure centers have been closed since November, and some areas of the country had imposed their own lockdowns. Hair salons are among the businesses which must close, while drinking alcohol in public places, such as popular mulled wine stores, are forbidden. Companies are being urged to allow employees to work from home. It comes as the German government said it was pressuring the European Medicines Agency to speed up approval of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, which was developed in Germany. It has already been approved by regulators in the UK and the US. Health Minister Jens Spahn said he wanted the vaccine to be approved before Christmas. A meeting by the EMA to discuss whether the vaccine should be rolled out around the bloc has been brought forward from 29th December to next Monday. And the ex-wife of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, Mackenzie Scott, has donated more than $4 billion to food banks and emergency relief funds in 4 months. Mackenzie Scott said she wanted to help Americans who were struggling because of the pandemic. Scott is the world's 18th richest person, having seen her wealth climb $23.6 billion this year to $60.7 billion. Most of her fortune comes from Bezos, who is the world's richest man and Amazon's chief executive. Scott donated $1.7 billion to 116 charities in July, saying she wanted to call attention to organizations and leaders driving change. Last year, she signed a giving pledge, promising to give away the majority of her fortune. The Giving Pledge is a commitment by the world's wealthiest individuals and families to dedicate the majority of their wealth to giving back. Scott pledged that she has a disproportionate amount of money to share. Charity experts have applauded the amount she has given away and how she has done it. She has worked with a team of advisors to research thousands of organizations. Israel's highest court has ruled that a former principal accused of sexually abusing girls at a school in Melbourne can be extradited to Australia. Malka Lefer went to her native Israel in 2018 after allegations against her surfaced that she is wanted in Australia on 74 sexual assault charges. The Supreme Court rejected her appeal against extradition, and the Justice Minister says he will sign it off. Lefer has denied the allegations against her. The case has dragged on for years, straining relations between Israel and Australia. In its ruling on Tuesday, the Supreme Court said all arrangements are closed and the declaration of extradition takes final effect. She is accused of sexually assaulting girls in the ultra-Orthodox Jewish Adas Israel School in Melbourne. Australia tried to extradite her between 2014 and 2016, but the attempt failed after she was found mentally unfit for trial. Undercover private investigators later filmed her shopping and depositing a check at a bank, leading Israeli authorities to investigate and arrest her in February 2018. Earlier this year, a panel of psychiatrists found that she was faking her mental illness to avoid extradition. And that's KFM's news around the world. But before we go, a quick recap of the headlines. Tunisian Navy rescues 93 illegal migrants. Germany introduces new restrictions amid rising COVID-19 cases. And Israel court approves extradition of sex abuse suspect to Australia. Do remember that the continued unity of Nigeria is a collective responsibility. Be sure to play your part. Do not forget you can listen to us anywhere in the world by visiting our website at www.kufm.net or download our mobile app from the Google Play Store.